Hello, and welcome to Impact History. Today we set out to explore the Iberian Peninsula, a land of sun-drenched plains and rugged mountains, stood at a crossroads in the early 8th century. The Visigothic kingdom, plagued by internal divisions, faced a new threat from across the Strait of Gibraltar. The Umayyad Caliphate, driven by Islam, eyed Iberia's fertile lands. In 711 CE, Muslim forces invaded, reshaping Iberia into al-Andalus, a land of cultural brilliance and conflict. Tariq ibn Ziyad led the initial Muslim forces into Iberia. A Berber commander serving Musa ibn Nusayr, he landed at Gibraltar in 711 CE. His army, composed of Berber warriors, faced King Roderick of Hispania. Roderic's contested rule weakened his kingdom's unity. Tariq's bold landing signaled a serious invasion. The stage was set for a major confrontation. Upon learning of Tariq's landing and the initial incursions, King Roderick hastily gathered his army. He marched south to confront the invaders. The two armies, one Visigothic and Christian, the other predominantly Berber and Muslim, met in July 711 CE. The exact location of the battle is still debated by historians, but it is traditionally believed to have taken place near the Guadalete River in southern Iberia. Roderick's army was larger, but it was a disparate force, possibly suffering from internal disloyalty due to the political divisions within the Visigothic kingdom. This lack of cohesion would prove to be a significant disadvantage against Tariq's more unified and motivated troops who fought with fierce determination. The Battle of Guadalete raged for several days. It was a brutal and decisive engagement. According to historical accounts, the battle was fiercely contested. However, the tide turned against the Visigoths. Some sources suggest that a wing of Roderick's army, possibly commanded by nobles secretly opposed to him, deserted or switched sides at a critical moment. This act of treachery, if it occurred, would have shattered the Visigothic lines and morale. Tariq's smaller but more disciplined force exploited the ensuing chaos. They pressed their advantage, leading to a comprehensive victory for the Muslim invaders. The Visigothic army was effectively destroyed as a coherent fighting force. King Roderick's fate is shrouded in mystery. Most accounts agree that he was killed in the battle or drowned in the river while trying to escape. His royal regalia was reportedly found, but his body was not definitively identified. The death or disappearance of the king was a devastating blow to Visigothic resistance. Without a clear leader, and with their main army shattered, the Visigoths were unable to mount an effective, coordinated defense against the rapidly advancing Muslim forces. The news of Roderick's demise spread quickly, sending shockwaves throughout the peninsula, and signaling the beginning of the end for Visigothic rule in Iberia. The aftermath of the Battle of Guadalete was swift and dramatic. Tariq ibn Ziyad, reinforced by more troops sent by Musa ibn Nusayr, pressed his advantage. Visigothic cities and strongholds began to fall one after another, often with minimal resistance. Some cities negotiated terms of surrender, while others were taken by force. The collapse of Visigothic authority was astonishingly rapid. Within a few short years, Muslim armies had overrun most of the Iberian Peninsula. This was not just a military victory, it was the prelude to the establishment of a new political and cultural order that would dominate the region for centuries to come. The echoes of Guadalete would resonate through Iberian history. Following the decisive victory at Guadalete, the Muslim conquest of Iberia proceeded rapidly. Tariq ibn Ziyad and Musa ibn Nusayr captured key cities like Toledo and Seville. Many local lords negotiated treaties, retaining property and religion in return for tribute. The conquered lands became the province of al-Andalus. Abd al-Rahman I established the Emirate of Cordoba, breaking ties with the Abbasids. Cordoba flourished, becoming a center of learning, culture, and commerce. Its grandeur was a testament to the power and prosperity of al-Andalus. Section 5. The Age of Illumination, Cordoba's Golden Glow. The period of Muslim rule in al-Andalus, particularly under the Caliphate of Cordoba, is often referred to as a Golden Age. This era witnessed an extraordinary flourishing of culture and the arts. Poetry, music, and elaborate gardens were highly valued. Palaces like Medina az-Zahara showcased the wealth and sophistication of the rulers. Scientific and intellectual pursuits reached remarkable heights. The Great Mosque of Cordoba is a masterpiece of Islamic architecture. These buildings were designed to inspire awe and reflect the power and cultural richness of the society that created them. Section 6. The Convivencia, A tapestry of cultures in Al-Andalus. Al-Andalus was a remarkably diverse society for its time. It was home to a mix of peoples and faiths. Muslims, who included Arabs, Berbers, and local converts, known as muwallads, formed the ruling class and a growing segment of the population. Christians, known as Mozarabs, meaning Arabized, continued to practice their faith, often adopting Arabic language and customs while retaining their religious identity. Jewish communities also thrived in many Andalusi cities. They played important roles in commerce, scholarship, medicine, and administration. This multicultural environment, where different religious and ethnic groups lived side by side, created a unique social fabric, distinct from much of the rest of medieval Europe. The term la convivencia, meaning the coexistence, is often used to describe this period of relative tolerance and interaction between Muslims, Christians, and Jews in Al-Andalus. While it wasn't always a perfect harmony and there were certainly periods of tension and discrimination, it represented a level of interfaith exchange that was quite rare for the era. People of different backgrounds often lived in the same cities, engaged in trade with one another, and sometimes even collaborated in intellectual and artistic pursuits. This interaction led to a rich cross-pollination of ideas and cultural practices, contributing to the dynamism of Andalusi society. There are many examples of this cultural exchange. Mozarabic Christians adopted Arabic art styles in their churches and manuscripts. Jewish scholars wrote philosophical and religious texts in Arabic, and some served in high positions in Muslim courts. Muslim thinkers engaged with Greek philosophy, which was also studied by Jewish and Christian intellectuals. This shared intellectual heritage fostered a common ground for discussion and debate. In cities like Toledo, which later became a major center for translation, scholars from all three faiths worked together to render Arabic texts into Latin, making them accessible to a wider European audience. This collaborative spirit was a hallmark of the most fruitful periods of convivencia. However, it is important not to romanticize la convivencia. Non-Muslims, as dhimmis or protected peoples, were subject to certain restrictions and had to pay a special tax called jizya. Their legal and social status was subordinate to that of Muslims. There were also episodes of persecution and violence, particularly during times of political instability, or when more fundamentalist Islamic dynasties, such as the Almoravids and Almohads, came to power. The ideal of peaceful coexistence was often challenged by political realities and religious tensions. Nevertheless, compared to the religious uniformity enforced in many other parts of medieval Europe, Al-Andalus offered a greater degree of religious plurality for a significant period. Section 7. The Long Shadow of Reconquista Reshaping Iberia. Christian kingdoms emerged in northern Iberia, never fully subdued by Muslim conquests. The Reconquista, a centuries-long struggle, began from these strongholds. It was a series of intermittent campaigns, alliances, and truces. Key victories included the capture of Toledo and the Battle of Las Navas de Tolosa. The Reconquista profoundly shaped Iberian identities and culture. The legacy continued long after the last Muslim stronghold fell. Section 8. Crowns United, Kingdoms Forged, The Rise of Modern Spain. In 1469, Isabella I of Castile and Ferdinand II of Aragon were wed. This union marked a critical step towards political consolidation. They pursued policies to strengthen royal power and unify their territories. Their most significant achievement was the completion of the Reconquista in 1492. This marked the end of Muslim rule in Iberia and the rise of a unified Spain. Section 9. Whispers of What If, the Enduring Legacy of Al-Andalus. History is a tapestry woven from countless decisions and events. What if Tariq ibn Ziyad's invasion in 711 CE had failed? Perhaps the Visigothic kingdom might have endured longer. Without the Muslim conquest, the unique cultural blend of Al-Andalus would never have emerged. Their advance was halted at the Battle of Tours in 732 CE by Charles Martel and the Franks. Perhaps Arabic, not Latin, would have become a dominant language of scholarship. It is evident in the stunning architecture of cities like Cordoba, Seville, and Granada. Al-Andalus was a bridge between cultures, leaving an indelible mark that continues to enrich Iberian culture today. Thank you for coming along with us on this journey, and we look forward to seeing you again here on Impact History. Please like and subscribe to stay up to date on future content as we continue to journey through the past.